I have to ask you one thing though, because Jimmy, my son, will always always want to know about Joey Bones.
How did he know?
You told him.
Yes.
Yes.
Tells everybody. Great.
Hello, everybody.
It's Lynda and Ross on Sunday afternoon again.
Well, that means it's Sundays with Lynda and Ross.
Oh, is that what it's called?
And today is Sunday, September 25th, 2016, and this is season 2, episode 2.
And we have a lot of different things that have gone on this week. Some not so happy, some kind of ridiculous, and some just outright funny. Yeah.
So anyway, we did have a rough week. We lost my aunt, passed away, and we're very sad about that. We're sad for her family. We're going to miss her a lot. We're sad for my Uncle George and my cousins, and she was a special person, and we're going to miss her. On the home front, we had some stuff going on around the house. We had our roof
Taken apart and put back together.
Yes,
New roof.
and one whole side of our house, because we had some damage from a hailstorm back in June. So they were banging away yesterday up on the roof, and so we had to
Go out for breakfast.
Go out for breakfast, and then we went to the beach for a few minutes to check out the beach, and then we went to a new yarn store that I found in Colts Neck, New Jersey, called Chelsea Yarns. And
That was so much fun.
you had such a good time there, didn't you?
I did, because I knew that any minute after you bought that yarn, we were going to go right next door to the Delicious Orchards shop.
Well, it's a farm.
It's a farm.
It originally
farm
was
stand.
an apple orchard, and since I think they've been around since the 70s, but it has slowly evolved into this huge specialty food market with gorgeous fruits and vegetables, all kinds of specialty foods. They sell everything, prepared foods, fresh meats, fresh fish. Their bakery department is crazy. You walk in and that's the first thing you see is their bakery department. Any kind of pie you want, cookies, cakes, everything. So they get you as soon as you walk in.
Smelling of freshly cooked apple cider donuts. Oh.
So we wandered.
Heart attack.
We came out with mostly good stuff, mostly fruits and vegetables, but we did succumb to their apple pie. Sugar-free though.
Sugar-free apple pie,
So,
which,
a lot of calories.
yeah.
But that was our treat. So we spent the day, I spent the day squishing yarn for part of the day, which I love, and which reminds me I have to show you what I'm working on here. It's my pumpkin socks. And the yarn is from Legacy Fiber Arts. I was lucky enough a couple of weeks ago to get in on one of their fall updates that they posted to Etsy. So I'm in seventh heaven with that. So anyway, because of the funeral of my aunt, my uncle Sonny, who lives in Florida, he and his wife Tamara came up from Florida to attend the services, and my grandmother and grandfather, my mother's parents, there were 10 children. There are only 3 siblings left, and they were all together at my Aunt Dolores' house today. And it was requested of me by my cousins. They thought it would be a nice idea if I talked to my uncles a bit today.
Interviewed them.
Yeah, I chatted with them a little bit. And so I'm going to show you that right now. Today is Sunday, and it's September 25th, 2016. And I'm here with my two uncles, my mother's brothers, and in the red shirt, striped shirt, is Uncle Bobby. Isn't it right? Strips. And you have on a plaid shirt, Uncle Sonny. Just so we identify who's who. Oh no, it's striped.
Right.
Okay, let's get our shirts straight here. Okay, so first of all, I want to know, what year were you born?
1932.
1932. What day? What was your birthday?
June 27th.
1932. So how old are you?
84.
84. Wow. You wish you were 60. Right? Uncle Bobby, when were you born?
November 20th, 1933. I'm 82, will be 83 next month.
Okay. And do you know where you were born?
I was born in Twistle Avenue,
Oh.
but not in the house we lived in.
Oh, okay.
Across the street. We lived there for a month when I was born. And I was a month old when we moved, and I was laying on a bed, and I almost got a mattress put on me.
Oh.
I was told.
So they were moving and they
Oh,
forgot
my
you
God.
were there?
Yeah. And we moved into the, the
Yeah.
house. The house.
Right.
And it just like across the street, like at an angle.
And so I assume that you were
I was
born
born
in
in the house
on,
that we lived in.
what was the address?
42 in
Twistle
Twistle.
Avenue.
I lived there 32 years.
So you lived there until you got married?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did the same? You lived there until you got married?
Till Uncle Sam took us away for 2 years.
What do you mean? Oh, Uncle Sam, that's right. So you had three other brothers,
That's right.
right?
We had more than three other brothers.
Oh, yes.
We had a couple of brothers, babies that didn't live long.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Well, Thomas was how old? He was born right after me.
man, it's about
Or after Ron.
2 years old, I guess.
Do
He
you
wasn't that
remember?
old. He was only a baby. I remember the
her
weight
baby
getting
is
long.
2 years
Oh,
old.
you do?
I remember that they couldn't get a hearse, and Wooly Salvatoriello's car, they had the white coffin in the back seat holding it. I remember that, son. You remember that?
They
way?
had a white hearse.
No, not that. It was they had them laid out in the house, though.
Yeah, everybody was laid out now.
So, and then you had 5 sisters.
Antoinette died. She was 7 years old.
Now, did she die before Thomas was born?
Oh yes, she's much older than me. She was around
She
Mary's
was
age.
the second from Mary.
Oh, okay. So did you know?
No, I
know her?
I didn't. We didn't know, but
We just saw
I go to her
pictures
grave and
of
put
her.
the stuff on there all the time.
So 10 children that survived all lived you all lived at once in the house, right?
And Twistle
At one
Avenue,
time?
all of us were in there.
And where did you all sleep? Because that house only had, what, 2 bedrooms, right?
3. My mother and father had their own.
Okay.
Me, him, and Anthony slept in one bed, and Joe and Red had the other bed.
In one
Another
room?
No, we were in one room.
Oh,
But Joe and Red had their own room.
And the girls slept
The girls slept,
downstairs.
which became the dining room.
In the dining room.
Became a dining room. They slept down here. There was 2 beds.
okay.
Big beds.
Okay, so
Big beds that open up.
I remember it being a dining room, but I remember there was always a bed in that room.
There was
Yeah,
always a bed
that's-
there.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
When you got sick, and that's where you went.
Okay. What kind of neighborhood was in Twistle Avenue at that time?
Almost 100% Polish.
Really? Yeah.
well, next door they were a little.
Then we had a black family next
Right.
door. Then what was the Felrest? They were German? They were the only other German.
Right.
The
But
rest
they were American. They didn't have an accent or anything.
Right. Did you have did you have best friends that
definitely.
In the neighborhood?
All my girlfriends were Polish and blonde. And I married a black-haired girl.
What about buddies? Did you have a best buddy?
Yes. Well, I don't know, Cudler across the street.
No, little
Junior,
fella.
little fella was the black guy. That was
That
his
was
friend.
my best buddy.
Yeah.
I went to his wake.
Is he still?
No, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. Okay, you just said he went to his wake. Yeah. You both went to
Lincoln
School,
Well,
right?
Park School first. I did.
Oh yeah, me too. I
Yeah,
went
you
there.
went to Park
Kindergarten,
School.
first grade.
What was the name
They
of
called
the
it
school?
Park School, which now is the high school. It was built in probably 1892. The hallway, the floors were
dead.
buckled. So we went there, but it was part of the junior high, but I went kindergarten, first grade.
When I was the second
And
grade,
then I moved
third
up to
grade,
second grade into Lincoln School.
Third or fourth grade, I went up to Lincoln School. Up the hill. You know where Lincoln School is.
Yeah, I went to Lincoln School.
That's right, you did.
I did. I went there
What the
until
hell?
4th grade.
You went all the way to the fourth grade?
Yeah, half the year, and then we moved.
But you came from the other side of the hill.
You went down the hill, we had to go up the hill.
Oh, right, you're right. I almost walk in Twistle Avenue. I
Yeah,
remember
you did.
walking
Oh,
from
you
Lincoln
did.
School
You
too.
walked.
You almost walked.
You walked over.
At that time, we walked.
Right, that's right.
We had to go to the movies, to Franklin. We walked. It's about over a mile. And walked back. Wherever we went, we walked.
What? Okay, well, I'm going to ask you about your parents because we all know, the Pugalises all know that history, but I do have a lot of fans, and so this might get out other than the Pugalises. So I want to know about Grandma and Grandpa, your parents.
Well, Grandpa is real tyrannical parent.
Okay.
And he worked,
Worked very hard.
and he came home to eat, and he slept, and he got up, and he went to work. And that's what he did.
What did he do?
He worked in a lumber yard, and he wound up outside. It was a lumber yard plus, what do they call it? When you knock down. Yes, he operated the saw.
They knocked out.
And when he retired, they had to call him back because nobody knew how to operate the store.
Really?
But one thing, when he came home, if we were playing baseball in the street, we knew it was 5 o'clock. We had to run in the
5
house.
o'clock. Well, 5:30.
But one thing I remember about him, in the morning, I think he got this from the Polish people. He would have a shot in the beer to get he would get his body going.
Really?
Went to work. As soon as he came in, he washed himself, and then he would have a shot in the beer to calm him down. And when we ate, I had to sit next to him because I was the baddest, the worst. And you better have a bottle of beer on that table.
That was your job to do?
No, but to get the case of beer, it went down from Joey to Red to Anthony to, I don't think Anthony, to him. So when they were all in service and gone,
Right.
it came down to me, and I had to go to that bar and buy that case of beer. But he had to have that beer with his meal. He didn't drink a lot. They made wine. He didn't drink much of the wine, did he?
No, well, when they stopped him, the doctors stopped him from drinking wine, so when he stopped making wine, he didn't drink wine anymore, he drank beer. And he'd buy a case for a whole week and let somebody come over and finished it.
But then he'd go upstairs. He had a special chair. Finally, when the newspaper, the television came, he would watch the news, and then there was a girl, weather girl. He used to curse her because, you know, she might say rain and didn't rain, and it would be his garden. But anyway, he sat, and you better have that Newark Evening News right there at that table for him to read, and you had to have him get his apple. He had an apple every night with reading the paper. Then when he got done, it was like 7:30. He went and sat at this chair that was at the foot of the stairs that went upstairs. Take off his shoes and leave him there, and he would just sit a little while, and then he would go to bed around 7:30 because he got up around 5. And it's a good thing he did in the winter, because when he got up, he restarted the furnace. So when we got up, the radiators were warm.
How did he get to work?
Bus.
Where did he catch
He
the
had to
bus?
walk down to Franklin Avenue.
Avenue.
No, he got it on Essex Street. He got the bus.
Well, he used to get it by Costello.
No, on the way home, he stopped there because he used to go over to Kirk's and have a beer.
He walked down the.
But he walked home by Sammy's house, Sammy's hotel. And he walked down and no, we never went and picked him up, did we?
When he was working at 12 o'clock at night, when he was a watchman,
Oh, I did that.
and we'd have to go and pick him up.
Oh, he was
And
a
then
watchman.
He was, yeah.
After he retired, he went back to that place, and he was a night watchman.
He was working then.
He was still working?
He was working, and then at night he'd work until 12 o'clock, and then you'd go and pick him up.
I remember that, but faintly.
Did he ever tell you any stories about Italy or growing up? Never. He didn't talk about it.
Well, lately, you know, or what I picked up, he'd say how they had farms. They must have at one time when times were good, they must have had some money. And he had brothers and uncles, you know. Then they all came here, and they were in business. He came here, and he was in the business. He was in the butter business, butter and
Eggs?
not eggs.
No.
I don't know. Maybe
Didn't he have trucks?
yeah,
Really?
horse and wagon trucks
Really?
used to go around. And then times really got bad, and they all went to work in this home worker business.
Oh, yeah.
This is where he worked, and that's where he stayed.
Do you remember your grandmother living with you?
She lived with
of
us.
course.
Yes.
Yes?
Definitely. I'll never forget her.
She was sitting in a chair mostly because she was real old when by the time we got
Yeah.
there, you know. And she could hardly walk. You had to help her walk. Go from a bed to a chair and like that in the kitchen next to the stove.
It was a rocking chair, wasn't it?
No, it was a big chair like that.
Did she get along with her daughter-in-law?
Well, yes, her daughter-in-law, yes.
I don't know if she taught her or helped her in cooking.
She helped her with all those kids.
Okay.
And
So she
as
must.
a matter of fact, when they lived on Bluefield Avenue before they moved there, they lived on Bluefield Avenue.
By Lincoln School.
Yes, you know where Harrison, going towards the cemetery that way.
Right.
The next block is a big house with porches on upstairs and downstairs, and lived in that house before they moved up to
And Twistle.
Twistle Avenue.
Did they own all of their homes, or
We rented Twistle Avenue. It was owned by Kaczynski's Bakery. And I used to go down there and bring them the rent and pick up the rolls. You remember that?
I never remember you bringing the rent.
Well, we paid them rent, right?
We paid them rent, yeah.
when did they
we
eventually
didn't
buy?
pay.
Then we bought it off them, right?
Yeah. this one of the sons, Teddy, not Teddy, or the other one that was a fireman,
Oh, yeah, that's,
came over and said they're gonna sell the house. And we were living there. I was real small, but I listened to them. I mean, I listened and wasn't supposed to be there.
Right, yeah. You knew what was going on.
And he said, I'm gonna sell it, you either buy it, or
Get out.
we're selling it and you don't know what's gonna happen. And his mother was old lady Kaczynski, you know. She owned the bakery there, and but she got, there was a guy that, well, they call him, I don't know what to say in Italian, he was what he was, but in American you call him my father's best friend.
Oh,
You know he had a gas station, Dawn, the father of the Dawn, and then he had a,
who had the gas station?
I don't know who he's talking about.
it's Agile.
Oh, Agile, okay.
Okay, who's Agil?
That's the Nardones.
I mean,
You remember the
he
Nardones?
was an uncle.
He had the Danny's gas station. You remember Danny's gas station?
Oh, Danny's
Danny
gas
Costello.
station. Right.
And his family was in Italy during the war.
Oh,
So when the war was over, Pat Costello and Danny took over the gas station.
right.
And he had the gas station up the street.
No, he had
So
a,
my father
he didn't
went
have-
there.
He didn't have a gas station.
Oh,
He had a
Yeah, a little candy store.
candy store.
Who had the candy store?
It's
Agile.
Agile.
Oh,
But
But he gave my father the money
Oh,
for
okay.
us to buy the house.
I got you.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
When he went across the street, and that's where Sergio, right, Agile, my father, they played cards on Sunday afternoon, right? Am I right?
In Kirk's.
No, in
In
the
Kirk's.
gas station.
They didn't play cards, but he went to Kirk's.
Then he went to
And
Kirk,
he
but
come
they,
home.
didn't they hang out in the gas station with Pete Sergio's father?
Right.
That's where I used to go with him.
Yeah, but they played cards.
Yeah.
They played cards over in Pauline over by
Pete Sergio.
Pete Sergio's house.
Pauline, that's bocce.
And then he'd come home.
That was all his only
He'd come
entertainment.
home
Oh,
one time
Saturday afternoon was his entertainment.
and he's drunk. And he on the porch and he threw up and my mother's hollering like,
I don't remember that.
and he was sick and he's sick and then he went to bed. He had to get up and
Every
go to
Saturday
work
afternoon
the
he
next
took
day.
his bath, his siesta.
So
Then he
who?
learned his lesson, you know, and he laid, he drank one or two or a beer, he could have 3 or 4, but he drank too much.
So did he have a favorite out of the 10 of you?
He had a
Red,
Favorite?
red.
Oh, really?
What do you think? You think so?
Anthony.
No, red.
So you know it
I
wasn't
was-
either one of you.
I was,
Far
he
from
was-
never being me.
I was not him.
You weren't
It was named after him.
right.
I'd
That's
get my
why
ear
it's-
turned. And slap, get down the hill. I remember that time down the hill, down beyond the Ernest Street where we got a parking lot, where Larry has the apartments there now. One lot, my aunt had the one lot in the house, and then my father had a lot, and then his brother, my uncle, had the other lot. They had, when the times were good, they were all making money. The Depression came, and they lost everything. Or they didn't lose it, they just couldn't pay it.
Right.
And Larry ended up buying, getting them, and put them apartment houses there that are still there.
wow.
And still making money.
Okay, so that was Grandpa. What about
But
Grandma?
I say one more thing
Oh,
about
one more?
him.
Go ahead.
He never hit me.
No?
He didn't have to. Papa,
Oh,
we were scared to death of him.
yeah, but
He hit me once
Yeah.
with a strap. When he went
What
to
did you
bed,
do that he
Wait,
hit you?
I'm going to tell you. When he went to bed, we had to be quiet.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
We couldn't make any noise. But this one time, I think I was fighting with my two sisters or something.
Not
Making
you.
a lot of noise.
Not you.
And he came down, and that was the first one he caught, and he whacked me. But he never hit us. We were scared to death of him.
He,
hit you?
by the time he got to him, he was tired, right?
And then I wouldn't go in the house until I know he was in bed.
Oh, we all did that. When he was after me, I used to go down the side. We ate in the store and look in the window to wait till he
That was in the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We wait till he went upstairs, and I'd come around. My mother would let me in the back door so I could eat. Because until he went upstairs, I couldn't go until he eventually forgot about it, what he wanted to hit me for. So he never really hit. But I was scared to death of him.
He never hit him.
My memory of him was I don't ever remember him talking to us, the the grandchildren, or he was just there, kind of,
That's it. That's the way he was.
just there.
Park himself in a corner. And sit and read a paper.
Star Ledger and Apple.
So okay, so what about Grandma? Memories of her? Wow.
What could you say? She was the greatest.
Yeah.
She worked hard. She treated us very good. Only thing is, I got hit many a time with a spoon and a broom. And I used to run and dive under the bed. And she would hit me all the time because I was bad.
What did you do to deserve?
I'm trying to think now. I don't even remember why all the things I did. Only one time. Now, you say who was his favorite?
Yes.
It would probably be Joe. But Joe was so good that, he was a saint.
Yeah.
So he didn't bother with him. But my brother Joe did something to me, and I still have the features on my face.
Oh.
He was home from the service, and I was doing something to my mother,
What were you doing to
or
her?
whatever I did that made her mad. And in where the girls had a bed, and I used to dive and hide under that bed, and he just ran in there, and he threw his army shoe at me, and it hit me here,
Oh, wow.
and broke my nose, and I had a black eye, and I went to school, and they said, what happened? And I said, I fell. And that's the only time my brother ever got mad at me or yelled at me, because he was too good to do that. And even Amanda remembers me telling her that he would catch a fly in the house and open the door and let it out. He wouldn't kill
Oh,
it.
Uncle Joe.
That's him.
So, of course, we all have good memories of your mother, of Grandma. And I have, lots of memories of her. She, like you said, seemed to be a very hardworking person. I just never remember her sitting still. She was always cooking or, hard to talk about her, Uncle Sonny? Yeah.
Well,
Okay, we'll change.
the Italians sometimes have a reputation of being dirty, they say. But on Saturday mornings, this was what we had to do. We had linoleum and you had the stairway. And we had to get on our hands and knees. And most of the time, she called it a vagelle. It's not a pot, I don't know what to call it. And we had to scrub everything. And the stairs especially. She would come in the corner and we would scrub the whole house. And the girls would dust and do that kind of cleaning, but we, on our hands and knees.
I don't
We-
know. I heard the girls talk about how they had to scrub the.
No, well, maybe they did, but we did. And then when we went outside to play, from our knees down, it were wet. But we went out and played like that. My mother came, 15 years old. I want you to remember this, all of you. 15 years old with her sister. They got to Ellis Island, and they got checked. They sent her sister back when she
Really?
had pink eye.
Really?
Imagine pink eye. So my mother was here 15 years old, all by herself.
Wow.
Because they came over, the reason they came over, they were looking for their father.
Father.
Yeah.
And
He had
The
disappeared.
mystery. This is the Pugley. Well, it's not the Pugley's mystery, but it's the Anna
And a
Carrick
character.
mystery, right?
same family.
Yeah.
An
True.
intermarried family.
That's true.
So that's why
So you don't know if he entered New York,
we don't know where.
Philadelphia,
We tried everything.
Boston.
New York.
He had to
Sure.
come in.
Staten Island.
He had to come in through Ellis Island.
Ellis
No, he
Island.
could have come in through Philadelphia.
Yeah,
No,
they all
they
came
came
into New York.
to New
Into New
York.
York.
What was that? Not Staten Island. but
Bedford.
Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Never heard from he went up, it's in Verona somewhere, from what I understand.
Who's this? You,
My grandfather.
your grandfather-
who I never saw. Never.
right. So you think he came here and
Oh,
got
he
mixed
came
up
here.
with-
He
That's
did
why
come
they
here.
came here to
mixed up
find him.
with, that group there, that, somehow he got mixed up and they tried to find him, couldn't find him.
so the five brothers, every one of you, did every one of you go into the army?
Everyone.
All the army.
No.
No, Anthony was in
Anthony
here.
wouldn't, he was gonna be 4F because he had heart trouble.
Oh, okay.
He had rheumatic heart or something,
Yeah, we had.
and he was he wanted to go and serve. He tried the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't take him in the army, or he never even went. But he went there when the war started. He went in the Navy first. He wanted to travel, but they wouldn't take him. And they went to the Air Force and they took him.
Oh.
Otherwise, and he would have stayed and he would have put all his time in, but he got married and but he had it made. He would have stayed. He would have made it a career.
So he put in his time
He
and
put
then
8 years.
He had to go
Oh.
4 years
Oh.
because he joined.
Oh.
But he was in Knoxville, Tennessee. His base was in New York, Long Island. He lived in an apartment and he went to work every day in the recruiting office.
Oh, really?
And that's how he met Wanda. Like that.
So he was a recruiter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That I can't picture at all.
Let me tell you one thing about him. I got to tell you one story. I have lots of stories. When what's his oldest daughter's name? Kim.
Yes.
When I had just got out of service, and I got a call that Wanda was. I took her to the doctor, which was across the street from the Franklin movies. The nurse come out and says you got to take her to the Columbus Hospital. She was going to have the baby, and I didn't know where Columbus Hospital was. So I'm going down Franklin Avenue and 6th Street, and I'm going through lights. Can you imagine me? Well, I was 22 at the time. I just got out of the Army, and she's yelling back there in the back seat.
Oh, my
I didn't know
God.
what to do, so finally I saw a cop, and I stopped him, and I said, get me to Columbus Hospital. We got to Columbus Hospital, got her in. Then I went, I got a call him, I got him at Lamont to tell him to come. Your wife's having a baby. And I'm in the lobby waiting and waiting and waiting. You know what he did? He went home, took a shower, got dressed, and then he came to the hospital. And he made it, though. I think he made it before she. I want to say he was done. I always say my mother was very lucky.
Yes.
Out of the 5 sons, only 1 saw combat. And the rest, 4 other boys, we were all clerks. We
But now
all worked in
was
an
there
office.
there was no war going on, right?
When he was.
Yeah.
You were in the Korean.
Yeah, I got pulled out of the. I was lucky. I don't know.
He was
if
very
I
lucky.
Very lucky.
So where
Lot
were
of
you
my friends.
stationed?
Hmm?
Where were you stationed?
Siberia.
In Siberia? Where?
Northern Japan.
In Japan.
Tell him how,
Northern Japan.
tell him how cold it was there.
Oh, it's Northern Japan.
Well, tell him how cold in the winter it was.
What the hell do I know?
You
It's
told me
cold.
in April and May it was still 20 degrees
Yeah.
below zero.
No, it wasn't 20 degrees. It was cold. It
Go ahead.
you get cold in 2 months, in July and August.
That was it?
Warms up a little bit. It gets nice.
Yeah.
How deep you say?
The rest of the time,
How deep was the snow? You said.
they,
Deep.
who the hell knows?
You never went outside.
Well, I was outside. You know how.
Well,
deep
Red
the
was
snow
lucky.
is.
The war had just ended,
Oh.
but he was in Germany, and he was a clerk. Anthony was a clerk. He was a clerk. And I was company
I was a clerk only.
And you were what?
company clerk.
Oh.
Radar.
So, what was Christmas like in the house when
Oh.
you were very young?
Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like
We all-
times were hard, but
We ought to put up the tree.
yeah. Did
My
you go?
brother-
Well, you went and.
No, my brother Red was selling them in front of Costello's.
Yeah, but
But we put the tree up. We bought a tree, right?
yeah.
Could I say one more thing?
Go
I
ahead.
got another story. What about Joe?
What about him?
That's the biggest story you could ever say about him. My brother Joe.
He came home. I went down the corner of the.
I did. You didn't. I outran you.
What happened? What
He
happened?
came home on Christmas Eve after being in combat in Germany and Belgium, France.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve around 4 o'clock, and we didn't have a tree, right?
We had a tree.
So he came home
We
from
didn't
the
put
from the war,
from the war on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
He was down a block, you know where the Twist lived in the Harrison Street, and we went down there, and he was.
And I carried his bag.
So how did you know he was? Did you know he was coming home?
Yeah, we knew.
We knew he was.
That was because of me. I followed the ships. We knew what ship he was on.
From the
From Belgium.
newspaper or how
From
did?
Belgium.
How did
And
you?
I knew when the ship had landed. Somehow he called us, I guess, and he said
So he came home and there
he
was.
had to come home by bus. He couldn't even get a ride home.
Wow.
And he
Was-
got,
do you
came up
think-
Harrison Street, and when he hit Harrison and Twistle, I was there before him because I could outrun him.
So how come there was no tree?
We did. We put up a tree that
We
night.
had a tree.
And what was something about we didn't have light bulbs. What did we put up?
Christmas Eve, huh?
We didn't have light bulbs. We put something up.
We didn't. We had night
No, maybe
bulbs.
we used to put the stuff, the gifts behind the parlor chair
Yeah.
because we didn't have a tree. But that night, I think we got a tree somehow and we put it up. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day,
Yeah.
Christmas morning, if you walked in my house on that side door
Yeah.
and you never had a drink in your life, my father had a table with whiskey and a beer. And you walked in that house, you had to have a shot and a beer with him. And he was happy. That's the only time he was ever happy. Right?
Nope.
Huh?
No,
You don't remember that?
no. He didn't. He didn't say you had to have a shot. To his sons, but not strangers. He
Oh.
offered.
You don't.
He wouldn't force them.
Okay.
Okay, so what was your first job?
6 or 7.
What was
I
your
had to
first
have a job.
Somebody
we worked
wanted
on
to-
a farm. We all delivered papers. And We worked in the bowling alleys. We always had a job, all of us.
The girls too, or just the boys?
Girls.
Girls too. We would always
And
have,
if they could get a job, there were no jobs. My sister Mary
she worked
had a
at Walter Kitty.
WPA or whatever
Walter
they
Kitty
call it.
during the war.
No, she worked before the war.
Oh.
Before
Well, Priscilla was a telephone operator.
Yeah, but Mary worked in the library,
Oh.
and she got a job that, you know, I guess you had to have so many kids, or you had, like they limited. She was lucky to get a job
Oh,
because
right.
of that.
Right,
She got a job as a clerk in the library. And you had to have the ability too. And
So,
that was while the war was on yet. And then when the war came, everybody was, the jobs were,
She worked
Well,
at Walter
right.
Kitty.
yeah, she worked in a factory.
yeah.
But Priscilla was always a telephone operator.
Right. So, what could you possibly have done at 8 years old? You had a paper route?
The guy used to come around with a horse and wagon.
The
Yeah.
peddler.
And when he came, he needed somebody to run the
Groceries up to the
Somebody-
second floor
Oh, to deliver the.
to the Polish people.
That's my
You got a
job.
nickel.
Really?
If you got a nickel,
And what did you do with? You turned the money. You
I
gave
had
the
to give
money.
it all to my mother.
Yeah. And she took care of the money.
I don't know. She did.
Took care of my money, not yours.
But she handled the money and buying groceries and.
Well, you know, it started with Joe. Like, he started the bowling alley, then Red would do it, then Anthony, then Lynda, and then me, and same with the newspaper route.
Did you set pens? Is that what
Yes,
you were doing?
yes. Newspaper route, too. Everyone eventually
Helpers on
got down to
rounds.
me, and we always had a route. And he'd work for an aid man.
I worked for Larry Verone's helper on a.
Oh, he worked in the Costello's meat market, too. He was going to become a butcher.
I was his helper on his paper route.
Wow.
Who?
Larry Verone.
Yeah, but you worked for
I was. Huh?
you worked for Butch in the
That's before that time.
Oh.
Man, I was out of the army. She's talking about how did you make it out.
Right. So
We were helpers.
you were helpers.
My brothers,
Yeah.
they had paper. The guy called Jack Smiling. He was a distributor. And
Right.
he had newspaper guys working for him with the routes.
Right.
And then I'd go and I'd work with as a helper.
Did you walk the? Did you walk? No bicycle. No.
We walked.
Yeah.
No, eventually I had Sammy Stellatella's bike
Oh.
when I delivered.
So would you say that you're more like your mother or more like your father in
Mother.
person? Mother.
Who, him?
Yeah. Well, both of you. Him. Who? More like his father or his mother?
He's not my uncle.
He's like your uncle.
Yeah.
Who? Which uncle?
Father's brother, I guess.
Yeah.
The uncle. The uncle.
They locked him up.
Not the
in room.
crazy uncle.
They
The
only had
crazy
one.
uncle.
Go on and tell you all kind of stories, and you have to,
What about you? Were you more like your father or your mother, personality-wise?
My mother.
Your mother. And you think you're like your mother too? You don't know.
I'm unique.
he's a true Puglisi.
So if you
Like,
okay,
Oh, wait a minute, too. One more thing. Didn't you work for the shoemaker?
yeah,
Didn't you work for our cousin that was a shoemaker?
I worked
Oh,
so
really?
many places.
He worked in the butcher shop for the shoemaker, all our cousins.
peddlers, and I had to shoot the sun shine, gonna shine. I go in the Rossi's Tavern,
Yeah.
ask for shines.
So, okay, this is, oh, I don't know how much room I have left on the tape, but, so if you, I mean, someday, if things stay the way they are, who knows, you know, what's going to happen to this, but probably your great-great-grandchildren will see this. Do you have any advice for them?
You're the older.
What do you want to say to your great-great-great-grandchildren?
I say, you get up and go to school every day and learn as much as you can. Concentrate on learning. And furthering yourself. Make things easier for your parents. And make things easier for yourself for when you get older.
Is there, what about you?
The way situations today, what's going on, and even in the past, and I always think about that. But this is what I do have to say today. The Puglisi's, not one of them ever got in trouble. We never did anything to make my mother upset or anything. We never went to jail, or although we had a chance because we got a relative there. But we were always good, clean, honest people.
How did you?
All 10 of us.
How did you stay that way? How did that? Because of your
I think we were fear of my father.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something, or my mother instilled it.
Yeah.
She put that into us.
Right.
Religion plus you don't
Right
want to.
from wrong.
Right from wrong.
That's it. She really put it, and we would never do anything to upset her too. But we were good, clean cut people. So I wish it would owe them, if they have the name Puglisi, keep it going, because there isn't a Puglisi that has ever done anything wrong. The name is still good and clear.
So, does anybody else have any questions to ask? No? No? Anything else you want to say?
You got anything?
No,
Oh, somebody wanted me to ask, is Dolores spoiled?
She was the spoiled
Your
one.
son wanted me to ask you that question.
She was spoiled before. She was come very late in life,
Yeah.
and there was 9 of us,
Right.
and we all, one took care of her. I took her to school at kindergarten. I walked her up there right up to her room, and it just so happened that the teacher was a friend of Mary's,
Oh,
and she knew who we were.
right. Oh, and the final question is, who's your favorite niece? Now you're not going to answer that question?
That's hard.
That's
all of them.
Oh my God.
Come on, you
You know what I'm
know.
going to say?
What?
Let me put it this way. My wife doesn't know this, and she might like it. After I receive communion,
Yeah,
my last prayer is, I thank God for my family.
I think I agree.
I
think
have,
you do.
I said, such a great, good family.
Yes.
Especially my immediate family. But I said, thank her for what the Puglisi's and all are. They were such a great family. And there's not many people that could say that, especially today. We had no drug problems and anything like that because we worked all the time, right? We didn't have time for any of that stuff. We worked all the time. That was instilled in us. One thing I wanted to say, I got to tell everyone.
One thing.
Yes.
All right, but
My father would make us dig the garden. He had some garden, right, son? He had tomatoes, corn, all that stuff. So I would dig it, so much that I could dig. And he would come home and he hollered at me that I did it wrong. So then I would watch him. He did the same
Who
thing.
did the same
Right.
thing? I had it right.
You did it right.
Yes, I did it right.
Well, he always complained I didn't do it right.
He complained.
You both have children. You have
I have a boy and a girl. Do I, Pat? I have 5 grandchildren.
5 grandchildren.
That's my life, and then they run my life. They tell me what to do. I don't have a life.
What about you?
I can't make a decision.
Do you have how many children do you have? 4 children. How many grandchildren?
7.
7. And some of them are here. Who do we have here? Oh, Carl.
Barbara.
Barbara's here. Come here, Barbara. Say hello. Who's this with you?
This is William.
Hi, William. And Larry. There you are. And Pat, married to the famous Uncle Bobby.
I could have told you every one of those stories. Because I hear them every day. Every day.
So you know if there's a word changed or
No, he pretty much says the same. He talks everything about his first 32 years. Since we were married, there's never a story.
well,
Never.
we'll have to change that.
That's because he's not supposed to talk.
But he talks now, but about the first 32 years.
Rachel, Tamara, Uncle Sonny's
If this were
wife,
my family, I wouldn't be talking. I wouldn't be talking.
and
So I
Sonny's son-in-law.
Sonny's son-in-law, Ross. Well, we all know who you are.
I'm a nephew.
Yes, you are. How about that?
Nephew, married into the family.
And she didn't want to be on camera, but we're going to put her on camera anyway.
Smile.
Wave hello, Dolores. Wave. So I think we're going to wrap it up. That was very interesting. I mean, I heard some stuff that I didn't know. I'm going to sign off, so you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. And don't forget all those things I told you.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview.
Oh, that was quick.
Well, it won't be quick while we're sitting here watching it. And the family will, I think, really enjoy it. I'm not so sure the people who aren't family will like it, but it's interesting. 2 80-some-year-old men who have gone through a lot and their take on life.
They grew up during the Depression. Were young boys during World War II.
It was a special thing for me to
And
do.
you might think of doing something similar in your own family.
Yes. Interview that grandmother and aunt, and
See how deep
they have a
feelings
lot to
go.
say, really.
Yeah,
So I think that covers it
that's it.
for about now. I mean, we're going to be doing a little traveling later on in the month, maybe to go see Ross's sister, hopefully. And, we have some stuff around the house to do.
We're painting the house.
you know.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Take care. See you next time, hopefully. Ciao.
Sayonara.